Hey guys, Graham here with The Rendezvous again, and today we are starting our 5-day series on the birth story. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We're going to release one of these videos every day until Christmas Eve. They're going to be about 3 to 5 minutes long, so jump in, join with us. Today we were supposed to be reading the book of Luke, chapter 1, verses 5 through 25. And if you haven't read that, just hit pause right now and go check that out, whether you have a physical Bible like this one that I was going to read out of, or if you just use your app on your phone. The Bible app is super great. Take a second and go check that out, Luke 1, verses 5 through 25, and this will make a lot more sense. But if you did the reading, you know that this is a section about an older couple named Zechariah and his wife Elizabeth, and they don't have any kids. And it's kind of a weird way to start the story because you're like, what does this have to do with Jesus at all? We do know that these people were related to Jesus, like an aunt, uncle, something like that. And when we hear about them not being able to have kids, that doesn't really mean much to us in our culture. I mean, a lot of people don't have kids. It's even kind of a growing trend to have either less kids or no kids. But back then, that was a big deal. See, they didn't have places like my grandma, who's 96 years old. She lives up here in Heritage Heights. They didn't have places like that to send grandma. The only way that you survived as an older person was to be taken in by your children or grandchildren. A lot of times, families lived kind of in a small community like that. So for them to not have any children meant that they had no retirement plan. That there was going to be a day when they were going to have to fend for themselves, when Zechariah was going to have to work, do labor until the day he died. And it was just going to be a hard life for them. There's also kind of this social stigma. There is still a little bit. Sometimes, we feel this when like a couple gets married, and this will happen to you someday. You're going to get married. You're going to walk down the aisle. Everybody's going to cheer and everything. And then at your wedding reception, somebody will ask you. They will say, so when are you going to have kids? Right? And you're like, I got married 30 minutes ago. Like, can you give me a break here? Can I at least have dinner, okay, before I have kids? But there's kind of this social stigma too that they were feeling because they didn't have any kids. Now it says Zechariah is hanging out at the temple. He's working at the temple, and an angel appears to him and says, you're going to have a son. And guess what? He's going to make a lot of people happy. He's going to be in good standing with God. He's going to have the Holy Spirit. He's going to bring people back to the Lord. He's going to mend relationships. It's going to be amazing. And Zechariah says, how do I know this is going to be true? And the angel, I feel like, should have said, because I'm an angel, dummy, right? Look at me glowing, okay? When a glowing angel shows up, just believe him, okay? But that's not what he says. Instead, he proves it to him. And I think here's the thing, because Elizabeth also realizes that she's pregnant, okay? Her body starts to change, but it says she doesn't leave the house for 5 months, okay? Like it's COVID all over again, right? And I think what was going on here, is my guess, is that both Zechariah and Elizabeth didn't feel like they deserved God's blessing, right? They had gone their whole adult lives to the point where they were too old to have kids anymore, all right? They get to this point where they know that God doesn't want to bless them. I can't imagine how many times they prayed to have a kid, how many times they asked God to bless them. And they were good people. I mean, it says Zechariah was serving at the temple when this angel shows up. It's not like they were just like bad people and God was scolding them. Like they had done the right things and God still hadn't blessed them. Like maybe they thought, we're not worth it, right? Maybe you've thought that before too. You were scrolling through Instagram and that's how you found this video here. But while you've been scrolling, you've seen everybody's highlight reel from all their Christmas breaks, right? So-and-so got to go Hawaii for their Christmas break. This person opened up their presents early and they got an Xbox and all these other things. And you think, my life sucks, or God doesn't bless me, or worse, I think this is the absolute worst thing, God has forgotten me, is that God remembered me, but still chose not to bless me, right? You might feel that way right now because you didn't get all the talents. You didn't get born into that family that just has a lot of money, right? Because you're not the prettiest girl in the class or whatever it is that you compare yourself to. And you might think, God either forgot me or he knows me and he's chosen not to bless me. But if you were to talk to Zechariah and Elizabeth, they would say, whoa, 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 hold on. Because we waited a whole lot longer than you did. You're still a teenager, or you're still in your 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever it is, however old you are and you're watching this video, right? And Zechariah and Elizabeth are saying, we were at the tail end of life, and God still had something for us. God hadn't forgotten us. It just wasn't time yet. And maybe that's your story too. Now, tomorrow, we're going to pick this story up at the verses right after this. We're going to read in the Gospel of Luke again, chapter 1, verses 26 through 38, okay? So continue in chapter 1, verses 26 through 38, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.